Okay, we are now live. Hey, this is Andrew. What's it called? Oh yeah, midlife strategies. I forgot. Oh yeah, I got this funky little music stuff going on here and all this good jazz. All right, this is the inaugural midlife strategies conversations with business owners. And I have a good friend of mine, good internet friend. This is one of these things we've never met face to face before. And wow, that music is really loud. Hey, turn it down. That's custom made music for me, believe it or not. Yeah, I paid somebody to do that. Real funny. So yeah, Karen is a friend of mine. We've never met face to face before, but I have interviewed her in the past on different formats, and she is phenomenal. Now I'll let her tell her about her background and how that all works and how she got to where she is today. And so tell you what, this is going to be a winging thing. And I told her she's my guinea pig for the inaugural one, and we'll get this thing started. So I'm going to introduce my good friend, Karen McCoy. Hello, Karen. You're on screen with me now.
Hey, guys. How are you? Good morning.
She's in the morning time zone. I'm in the afternoon time zone now. She's way, way, way up on the on the West Coast.
West Coast, yeah.
Vancouver, is it not?
I'm Vancouver Island, so I'm even further west. I'm at the west side of the West Coast on the island here. Yeah, so it's bright and early here. Thanks for letting me come on and hang with you. It's been a long time, and sometime we got to meet in person. We got to have that scotch we've been talking about.
Absolutely. I like when you post your adult beverages that you consume every so often.
That's right.
I'm right with you on that one. Absolutely.
I know you are. I know.
100%. Okay. What we're talking about today is a business that Karen has. It is called Warrior Women Fitness. And I want to get into more details about how she got started and things of that sort with the business, and not really talk about how the business, I guess I want to talk about how the business functions and not what the business does. But both in the fitness world, I'm sure a lot of it's going to go back toward fitness related stuff. But in the meantime, first, let's get started here. Karen, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started with business and everything.
Okay, well, I have been in fitness since I was 21 years old, so it's been a long game. And I'm a trainer and a nutritionist and a coach as well. And so we moved out to BC probably 20 years ago. And of course, I went to the gym and I was working there with clients for a long time. My son, Tristan, who's now 24, he was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And so this is a progressive condition. And at the age of 10, he went into a wheelchair. So it's degenerative as well. So it always gets tougher as time goes on. And what I found was the old gym model of going to the gym and training people and doing nutrition, it just wasn't working because he needed me more and more, or the wheelchair would break down and he needed support. So I decided to craft my own online business in fitness and nutrition and just do it from the ground up, because honestly, this was 10, 12 years ago. There was nobody doing it really. And I just knew that I loved the business and I wanted to keep going. And I had so many people saying, you can't do that. You've got to be in a gym and training people. And I'm like, you know what? Like they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And I had to reinvent myself in a place where nobody was really doing online health stuff. And, online to me is not creating a workout and emailing it to somebody. I wanted a whole thing where people could be there 24/7 and I could support them in all ways. So it really was from the ground up. I didn't have any mentors. There were no business programs doing that. I kind of didn't want that anyways, because I'm kind of a little bit of a lone wolf and I like crafting my own stuff. I like the creative process because it just makes me feel good. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. So it was a challenge and I dug in and I made a ton of mistakes. I spent a lot of money I shouldn't have spent, but I think that was part of the process too. And 12 years later, I have a successful at-home online business. And it just took a lot of hard work, a lot of weekends, a lot of sleepless nights, but I just had a goal and I didn't have the luxury of saying, I'll just go out and get employment again. I didn't want that. and I couldn't do it with my son anyways. I needed to be home with him. So 12 years later, I'm happy I made the decision, and things are way easier, and I work less, I make more, and I'm online. I have total freedom. I can take it with me. I've gone on holidays, I've gone traveling with my son, and I can take my work with me. So it really is, it's great for the client, and it's great for me and where I am in my life. So
Fantastic.
there you go.
All right. So you said a couple of things in there that I want to touch base on. So you mentioned that you did not want to have something where you just emailed somebody a workout or eat this on this day type thing.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that your whole business is online.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for the people like myself, mentally not figuring that one out, how do you do it online if you're not emailing different things to folks or sending them different things? What do you mean by you're doing it online?
So I have a couple different models. I have a membership site, so it's all off of my website. And on that membership site, they pay a monthly fee, they get a password, they go in and get that month's workout. Then I have a private Facebook page where I'm there every day, and whatever nutritional stuff we're working on, I'm coaching them through that as well. So I have that membership site going, and then I have a program where I run programs throughout the year, which are staggered. I might have a 10-week challenge, which I think you know of that one. I have my new mastery program, which is a 5-month program. And the whole focus around it was I wanted to keep the personal and personal training over the internet. And so for me, what I do is I'm allowing women to come in. It's 24/7. It's flexible. It's accessible. It's they're accountable, and I'm there coaching. And we also have one-on-one coaching where every Tuesday and Saturday I show up in Zoom. I think everybody knows Zoom now. And they come and they bring their questions wherever we're working from. And so it really is about what I know, Andrew, is, any good online program, the way I see it, should have 3 things. It should have a strategy to get them from A to B. It needs to have support, and it needs to be scheduled in. So I was able to build that, but I'm there a lot. And the Facebook page, and then they can email me as well if they choose to at certain times. We have email check-ins as well. Mm-hmm. So it really is, it's a portal. It's out there for them, and they can click on what they want, and then they can come into the group. Sometimes we're working on stuff as a group together, and other times they'll come in and go, nah, especially with COVID, everybody wants at-home programs. So what I did was I put up about 15 at-home programs, and then they can choose their at-home programs depending on what they have at home. Okay, let's talk about this. Where do we need to go with this? What's going to make this better for you? So that's kind of the model that I do.
Okay, so when you say at-home programs, are you filming yourself doing a workout, and then they come in and follow along with you whenever at their leisure, so to speak?
So because I've been doing this so long, I have probably, 80 programs. And so over the 12 years, I would take my camera into the gym and I would film. And then what I do is it's not a follow along, because it would be like 45 minutes, and that would take up too much time. And a lot of women are just so busy. So what I do is I film the exercise, and then I put it together. I have a workout card as well with pictures to those exercises. And then I do a narration below. So as I'm training in the gym, I'm saying, okay, when you're doing a tricep push down, notice how my elbows are by my side. And then I put out sets and reps and expectations of weights, just expectations. If you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And it's just because I've got about 1,500 videos. So I've been doing this a long time, where if I need a fresh workout, I go into the exercise library and say, okay, today we're going to focus on glutes for this month. So I'll pull down the videos, and I do everything myself. That's the other thing about being online, is I didn't have the money to pay somebody $80 or $120 an hour to do all this stuff. So I had to learn it all myself. And it was a huge learning curve. For me to go out and hire, I'm a WordPress gal. I learned how to do WordPress. Some of the bigger techie stuff I'll get somebody to do, but I do WordPress. I do all the videos. I do the editing. I do the narration. I had to learn that myself, because I just didn't have a lot of resources when I started out, like everybody, right? And I do think it makes you more valuable in your business when you do know all the moving parts. And then as you become more successful, you can put those parts that you don't want to do, give it to somebody else to do. But for me, I know every aspect of my business. And I think a lot of people get caught up in wanting to farm it out at the beginning, which I understand, but I also needed quick change. Like if I'm looking at a workout, it's like, okay, that's not right. I need to go in and change it on the spot. I needed that instant flexibility. If I've hired somebody to do that, it will take a few days. So I didn't want to mess with that. So maybe I took the harder route, but it definitely was the deeper route. And I know all aspects of my business.
Okay, well, you just answered the question I was going to ask in a little bit. As to what was your biggest struggle, and you just answered that. I think, yeah, learning all the technology parts of everything.
Yeah.
All right, let me back up a little bit. So before you got into the online training, were you a personal trainer at a gym, or were you working at a corporate America? What were you doing before that?
No, I was a personal trainer in the gym. So I was contracted out as a trainer. So I did that for years. And then along with that, they allowed me to then, go into nutrition. So I got certified as a sports nutritionist. And so then I would add that on as well. So yeah, I was the gym model. And I remember looking around and, it's sad to say on the island here where I live, we've lost 2 chains of gyms. And I think because I remember looking at it going, the gym model was getting expensive. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a one-stop shopping where all the courses and all the classes were all involved, and it was getting really expensive for people. Also, women who had babies, like if they needed daycare, sometimes they could get it, sometimes they couldn't. And I just kept looking at it going, you know what, it's really expensive. And I would see women doing the same workout for month after month after month because they didn't want to pay a trainer to change it up. So they weren't getting the results. So I looked at it and thought the gym model, it can't sustain. It just can't sustain itself. And that's not why I created my online model, but I think it was just a matter of timing and looking down the pipe and going, people aren't going to want to do this anymore. And so now we see so many people doing so many different businesses online, right? Because I think there was a real rejection about it a long time ago. But I think even with COVID, now with everybody being forced to, now people are waking up going, yeah, there is something to this online business stuff. And they're starting to get really interested in it, which I think is a really great thing for everybody.
Okay. Good. And you're 100% right. Because like you just said, a long time ago, people looking at online businesses and saying, that's never going to work. You have to sell stuff to somebody. What? Yeah. But now with all the technology and the videos and audios and everything else, it is booming. And somebody that knows how to do it, like yourself, is booming. Like I just said. Okay, so one thing you keep mentioning, you work with people and things. I always say things like that, but no, you're working with people. But you're just working with a specific niche of person, if I recall, just women over a certain age. Is that?
Yeah, women over 40. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, if you sell to everybody, you're selling to nobody as it goes. And I've always been really, I just enjoy working with women. And as the 40 plus woman, as you know, with aging, Andrew, things change. And so I decided that was the part of the population that wasn't being serviced, especially in the gym era. And now even more so, it's a much younger person's game. And the way they would talk about aging was, you're not working hard enough, you're eating too much, everything was put on the client. And definitely for me as well, I've used my body as an experiment to follow aging and what happens in the female body. And it's very different. So I've been doing this 20, 30, 40, 50, I'll be 60 next year. So that's 4 decades, heading into my 5th decade. So I know how the body changes, and the fitness industry does not understand it, and they don't service it well enough. So that's why. Also, here's the other deal. Women 40 plus, they're starting to kind of wake up, as I say, and they're like, you know what? in my mama's time, it was different. They were stay-at-home moms, right? Same with yours, I'm sure.
Yep.
And now women are like, no, I want more. I'm in the second half of my life. Their children are gone. Well, maybe some of them are returning, but whatever. They're independent. And they are willing to listen because they've done so many different diets and so many different failures that they just want to live a nice, basic, simple life for the next half of their life. So they're really awake and ready to listen. And that's why I love it, because they're just so hungry for something fresh and new and real. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, okay, and I got to touch on this because you brought it up. I didn't. You brought it up. You said you were 60 years old. Now, people out there are going to look at me or look at you and say, "No way."
I'm 59. I'll be 60 in my next birthday. So I'm heading into my 5th decade doing this, is what I meant.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And folks, this is something I know about her from talking with her previously. She is not just your typical trainer, gym rat type person. She was a world-class athlete. She won several competitions in figure, if I recall. Is that correct?
I did bodybuilding to start because that's all there was. So I won the provincial bodybuilding. Then I went into figure, and then I went into physique. My last show was at 53 in physique, and I came in 3rd in that, which I was real happy because I had no age category. I was in with all the 20-year-olds. That was for me. I was happy. That was my 7th show, and I was really happy with that. So.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so once again, I want to go back and talk about fitness all the time, but this is more business ownership type thing. Yep. That's what I want to stay on, focus on that. Now, I know we're talking about Warrior Women Fitness, but I got to bring this up because you and I've talked about this, and I'm probably one of the few guys that will admit that you actually made me cry. Karen wrote a book. It's called One Rep at a Time. How she had time to write this book is beyond me with everything that she does. So, and I'm going to have her plug her book a little bit here, but how was you able to, while you're doing all this, your business, online business, getting it started, learning the technical aspects of everything, filming the videos, how did you have time to write a book as well?
Well, I think a lot of people look at writing a book as laborious, and I'm a writer. I love to write. So actually for me, it was very cathartic. And I needed to write it. So I had a story to tell about my son and our journey together. And it was a calling. And, if you ask any writer, why do you write? They're going to say, because I have to. And so that was just something that I needed to write. And I also came to understand, this is where I can work with women who have intense challenges, emotional and spiritual and mental. We all, have challenges. And definitely when you're 40, 50, 60 years old, you've kind of accumulated a bunch of them. And so this is where I say I can meet women where they're at, because I understand the challenges around life and parenting and children. And it was just a book that I needed to put out there just to let other people know, I get it. Life sucks sometimes. Life is hard, but we can get through this together. And that's a big part of what I do in my work is I do empowerment coaching. I'm an empowerment coach. And so I weave that into training and fitness, because you can't really get healthy unless you have a strong emotional and mental health as well. So I know it because I lost it for a long time with Tristan and all of his challenges, and I had to fight to get it back. But what I learned in getting it back, it wasn't about having a great body and doing shows, and it wasn't about eating well. Those things are important. Mm-hmm. But my body fell apart when he was diagnosed. And so what I recognized was the best fitness and eating routine it doesn't hold anything against spiritual angst. So that was why I wrote it, because I felt I needed to.
Interesting. Now, folks, if you're interested in her book, now her and I talked about this the other night, do not, and I repeat, do not go to Amazon and get it because they're screwing something up. If you want her book, go to the website. I posted on the link there, Warrior Women Fitness. Email directly or talk to me and I'll get the message to her, and she'll work out something with you to get the book to you. But do not go through Amazon at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but that's okay.
Okay, so I want to make sure we put that out there.
Thank you.
Okay, with your business, and I wrote this down. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Was as you're going along and learning all this stuff, learn all the technology, the workouts and the videos, and writing your book as well. Is there any place within your business where you said you had that aha moment, the breakthrough, like, oh man, this is the secret that I've been missing, or the piece of the puzzle that it's been slapped me in the face, I haven't seen it yet, and all of a sudden you did it and everything took off? Have you experienced anything like that, or did anything like that?
Yeah. I think the biggest one was a mindset shift for me. So I had learned a lot of the softwares, a lot of the strategies. There's always this push for people online, when we're talking online, to build your email list, get your Twitter up, or get YouTube up, or all that kind of stuff. And so for a lot of years, I was just scattered. I didn't really have a plan. All I knew was that I had to be out there, and it was just a hodgepodge. And I remember how tired I was after doing that for about 8 years. And there would be some response, but not a lot. And especially, I don't want to go back to the fitness field, but the health and wellness field is one of the biggest. So it's huge.
Oh, yes. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So you really have to try to make inroads. And last year, I had a talk with the universe. And last year, I said, I've been in this business for, I think it was 10 years by then. And I had always envisioned having a certain financial outcome from it.
Right.
And I wasn't hitting it. I wasn't even near. And I thought, okay, I have sweated. I have given up holidays. I've taken time away from my family. And I got into a place of being really angry about it, angry at myself, angry at the universe, what's going on. I had taken, programs and stuff like that. And then I landed upon a business program that was a little bit different, but it wasn't so much the program or the people that were teaching it. They had a good strategy. They did a lot of mindset work. And a lot of the people that they have on board that they've had for years come from the Anthony Robbins and Jim Rowans and those places, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the missing part, and I just ate it up. So I had a lot of strategy. A lot of the strategies that they teach is what I've been doing with, Facebook webinars that rotate 24/7 and all that kind of stuff. And that was really helpful. And I was really challenged with having to learn 5 more softwares. And but I did, and it was a high ticket program. So I paid a good price for it. But here's the deal: when you pay a good price for something, you invest in self. And I was in there every day, lapping up every workshop, every teaching, everything for 8 weeks. But the big, where we got momentum was in the mindset stuff. And I just went into it. And that was the missing piece. Because when you're doing your own business, you're like head down, right? You're trying to get all the pieces in place. And everything seems to be a moving target. Algorithms are changing. Like everything is just always changing. But what was missing was I didn't go in and I didn't work with this. I didn't look at, okay, where am I? What are my beliefs around money? What are my beliefs around success? What are my beliefs around why am I here on earth? I'm not here to sell. I'm here to serve. So when I change that and recognize I'm here to serve and help liberate women to live a better life, then that just changed everything for me. Every day I work on mindset now. Every day I go in and it's like, okay, what do I envision? What do I want? And put myself out there for the client. And here's the deal. This is one of the biggest changes, Andrew, that I know, is that so many times in business, we're taught to talk about ourselves. I have a great product. I've been in business for this long. All of these things. Mm-hmm. But the deal is we're missing about the client. In what I do is I rarely even talk about where nobody cares. Nobody cares about us. They care what we can do for them. So this has to be client-centered. So everybody that comes into any one of my programs now, it's always through a call. And I sit on that call for an hour with every single person. And that was another game changer for me. It's not about just putting out a program with a PayPal link and then promoting it and hoping that people are going to sign up. I need to go out and tell them what I can do for them. And what I do is I don't open up my programs to just anybody like I used to. Anybody's welcome, let me help you. Now I do calls where I want to see if it's a fit for them and for me, because I want to work with a certain client at this stage, right? I mean, we have worked with so many different clients, which is awesome, but I wanted to get to a place where I wanted to work with a certain client because this is what jives with me. So honestly, I would say for all the calls that I do in a week, probably maybe 20% I would say, yeah, I want to work with you. 20% I bring into my program if they're interested in doing a program with me. If they're not, I make sure they always have something to walk away with to better their life, to get them unstuck with their nutrition or their body image or whatever it happens to be, because we are here for the people. And when you put that out there, amazing stuff comes to you, and then you truly are living why we're put on this earth, because we are put on this earth to support and serve others. So that was a big game changer for me as well.
Okay. So that brings up a whole other question. And I know I told you 25 minutes to a half hour, and we're at a 25-minute mark. So but I got so many other questions here about that. All right. So anybody that has a business, they're going to have customers. Some people call them clients. Some people call them, patients, whatever. You have to have somebody to consume your whatever product you have. That's just business 101. All right. So talk to these ladies. Is there a common theme that almost every one of these ladies talk about when you're on the call with them for the very first time, that you're saying, okay, they're going to talk about X, Y, and Z because everybody else has? Or is everyone completely different? Or is there similarities, or how does that work?
Okay, so when they come to me, obviously, because I'm in fitness and nutrition, that's always what shows up first, right? But what I always say is the body, or the body fat, or where you're sitting, where you're unhappy with, that's not the problem, that's a symptom. So the problem is when we get down to it, and that's where my empowerment coaching helps. I can etch down into, okay, what's really not working in your life here? What do you strive for? What do you want? This is where, yes, people are lost. People are putting on a facade of being great because that's what we're supposed to do. You say to somebody, how you doing? Fine. We're not supposed to really talk about what's really at the core. So absolutely, there is a sense of people wanting more, especially in today's, look what's going on. The world's kind of gone crazy. Yeah. And people said to me, you're never going to be able to sell your programs because of COVID. And I've done even better during COVID, because what I recognize is the deck is being reshuffled here in every way, in politics, in health, in finances, in families. Everything is different and new. And some people are contracting and they're scared. And when people are contracted and they stay there, that's the kind of client that's really hard to work with. So when people allow me the ability to show them how they can expand and create something fresh and heal some stuff that needs healing so that they can move into their greatest self, that is what people want. People want to be inspired. People want real leadership. People want to know that they matter and that is possible for them. And everybody has that possibility in them. It's just helping them to believe in it. So really, it is less about the fitness and nutrition and more about finding where that person is at and letting them know, holding space for them, listening to them, validating them, and saying, okay, I can help you with the training and the nutrition. Let's do this, but let's also look at this piece over here. We need to move you from here to here, because that's where you're supposed to be resonating and living from. And I think people they're losing themselves in everything that's going on. And they've lost themselves. A lot of women have lost themselves decades before when it comes into mothering and parenting and being a wife. And so, the female aspect is we often put ourselves last. This is them showing up at 40, 50, or 60. That's why I don't work with 20 or 30-year-olds, because they don't have a lot of that in them yet that they're challenged with. And that's where we're saying, okay, let's put you on the front burner now instead of the back burner.
I always say that the younger folks, the 20s and 30s, life hasn't kicked them in the teeth yet.
Oh, that's so true. I thought I had it all together, and I thought I lived a hard life at 30. Woo!
All right. So business-wise, what has been your biggest victory? And we'll end with this. What's been your biggest victory that you can think of right off the top of your head?
My biggest victory is recognizing my own worth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation there. Wow, that's good.
Yeah. So my biggest worth is recognizing that I have, a lot of skin in the game over the years, and it's not about I'm not in the convincing game. I don't convince people to coach with me or whatever. Now I can just say this is where we're at, and it's, I would say I'm a VIP coach. And that was different than before. It was like, oh, please take an ebook. Oh, please go on my email list, because there was that feeling of I had to keep giving and giving and giving in order for people to find my worth. But the problem was I wasn't finding my worth. And now through all of these changes in the last year and putting out programs for women that I want to work with, women that have a different perspective, that are coachable and committed, now I'm like, yeah, this is why I'm here. And so I'm selective, but it's because I work with women that are like me, that really do want to make change. Because Andrew, so many people say they want to change, but when it comes to it, most people would choose comfort over change.
Oh, absolutely.
And I did that as well. My comfort level was not really putting myself out there, just hoping and praying. And I had a business for 10 years, hoping and praying that they would see, I know my stuff. Well, no, now I put myself out there and say, I know my stuff, I'm worth this, and you're worth that as well. So that's been a big game changer for me, was just showing up the way I needed to show up and believing in myself.
Wow. Fantastic. That's Warrior Woman Fitness, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
.com. All right. And I got that link there. And please go there, talk to Karen if you want to set something up with her. Great. And tell her I sent you over, and maybe she won't kick you out at that point if you tell her.
I don't know.
If you guys ever have any questions, and for whatever reason you can't get a hold of Karen, feel free to contact me and I'll get a message to her. And she's very accessible. And like I said, she's been a friend of mine for at least 10 years now when I first contacted her, and she still puts up with me, my little stupid jokes sometimes.
I know. I'm just waiting for that offer of having a bottle of wine or having a scotch. So
you ever get to Vancouver Island? I mean, do you ever travel to Indiana? No, you don't.
Well, I never thought about it, but I would now. But I'll have to wait a bit till all this blows over, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right, Karen, thank you again for being my inaugural person interview for Midlife Strategies. And that's it. And if there's anybody has any questions, once again, come to us. Once again, Karen McCoy, Warrior Women Fitness. I have the link right there, .com, and we'll end it here. So thanks again, Karen.
Thank you. Have a good day.